Hello dear viewers, time for the news here on Rwanda Television with me, Serge Hore. And as always, we'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame has received Ambassador Lazarus Kapambwe, who delivered a message, a special envoy on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia. Rwanda's Speaker of Parliament has held discussions with Rwandan members of Parliament representing the country in the East African Legislative Assembly. And on the international scene, a New York judge has sentenced President-elect Donald Trump to an unconditional discharge over 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Now the details, as always, I'm glad you're able to join us. On Friday afternoon at Village Rugwiro, President Paul Kagame received Ambassador Lazarus Kapambwe, who delivered a message, a special envoy, on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia. Rwanda-Zambia cooperation dates back to several decades. In recent times, during President Paul Kagame's state visit to Zambia in 2022, up to 7 memorandums of understanding were signed between the two countries. President Hakainde Hichilema made his first state visit to Rwanda in 2023 per the invitation of his Rwandan counterpart as a reciprocal visit. During the two-day state visit, the two presidents, together with their delegations, held a working session on bilateral cooperation for the benefit of the people of Zambia and Rwanda. Now, as we just noted in the headlines, Rwanda's Speaker of Parliament has held discussions with Rwandan members of Parliament representing the country in the East African Legislative Assembly. She assured them of the Chamber's commitment to further encourage Rwandans to take advantage of opportunities within the East African community, that is the Chamber of Deputies. Honorable Fatuma Danjiza, who led the delegation of EALA MPs, expressed their delight in meeting members of the Rwandan Parliament's Bureau, marking the first such meeting since their election. Discussions centered on the need for the Rwandan Parliament to mobilize citizens to maximize the benefits available in the EAC, particularly in trade and business. The collaboration is aimed at ensuring that Rwandans fully leverage the economic and social opportunities provided by the regional bloc. Now, the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative has revealed that it has so far hosted close to 8,000 delegates and close to 700 delegations from 62 countries who have come to benchmark on some of Rwanda's homegrown solutions, including gender equality and women empowerment, as well as Rwanda's tax administration, among others. William Evans Mutabazi sat down with Ms. Patrice Uwase, the CEO of the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative. For more details, take a look.
So much. My name is William Evans, and of course, I'm sitting down with the CEO of Rwanda Cooperation Initiative, Mrs. Uwase Patrice. We just want to have a conversation about Rwanda Cooperation Initiative, what it does, what its mandate is, and everything in between. Ms. Uwase, you're most welcome.
Thank you, William.
Yes, there are people that are hearing Rwanda Cooperation Initiative for the very first time. What should they know about this initiative in terms of your mandate and what you do?
Thank you. Rwanda Cooperation Initiative is an initiative of the government of Rwanda that was created in 2018, so that's 6 years ago. And it was created out of a moment of need to really enhance how we serve the people that come towards us for different reasons from different countries. Most people do come for a study visit, so they are here to learn about the experience of Rwanda, what Rwanda has done in the last couple of years, especially in the 30 years post the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. And so Rwanda Cooperation Initiative started at the core of its mandate doing study visits, hosting study visits. But we've since added other services. We began doing a lot of training programs as well. also which was born out of need, because people came to visit to study about different topics, but they ended up wanting to do like us, to work with us. So training programs is what we do as well. We also do advisory services, because after you train someone, they also want to do exactly what you've trained them to do. So we also have been doing a lot of advisory services. And lastly, 5 years ago, 2 years after we were created, we started also implementing projects in partner countries. So we've since done 3 projects in Chad. We are currently also working in Guinea, the Republic of Guinea, and also have been working with the Kingdom of Eswatini. That's in a nutshell what Rwanda Corporation does.
Yes, from the work you do, there is a commitment, and I think you want to stand out as an institution, or the gateway to developmental knowledge.
Correct.
There are lots of people that come to Rwanda to benchmark on policies, on programs, on lifestyle, and other things. From where you sit, of course, and the experience you have in the 6 years, what are some of the key areas that people prefer benchmarking on?
Indeed, Rwanda Cooperation Initiative, at the core of its mission, is the global gateway for development knowledge exchange. And indeed, we want to share everything that we've got in the spirit of South-South cooperation, as well as triangular cooperation. Now, maybe I'll stop a bit and say what this is. It's really this partnership that's fruitful between countries in the global South, where a country still in development, under what is defined as underdevelopment, to work with each other to find solutions, tangible solutions to the problem facing our nations together. And then cooperation there really comes in to begin to do that in respect, in a partnership spirit, so that people that come towards us do come to learn, but we learn together. We learn in the process. We share our journey. Triangular is when now a partner, for example, some of the UN agencies have partnered with us, like the UNDP and others, to now catalyze that kind of partnership. Because maybe a country that wanted to come over, or us if we wanted to work with them, does not have all the financial means to do that, but then a third party partner covers that cost for us to work with them. Now, that said, in the last many years, this is driven by the leadership of Rwanda wanting for us to share with the world. We've received around 7,000 delegates who came in 700 delegations. So you can quickly understand that every single week we have about 5 delegations in the country that are here for different topics. They come for different things. And we, as government of Rwanda, intend to adjust and accommodate any of their needs. Nevertheless, indeed, like you said, we've had multiple delegations that came especially to learn from us about business, ease of doing business. Because for many years, as you already know, Rwanda was ranked 2nd easiest place to do business in Africa. And therefore, they come to learn about that experience. We have a lot of them also coming for gender equality and women empowerment. And this is also it goes without saying that Rwanda is ranked the best in the world for gender empowerment and gender equality, and therefore we've received a lot of delegations from across the world. 62 countries have come to see us, and most of them do come around that topic. Obviously, we also have had a lot of them that come to learn about our tax administration and e-tax systems, and this is one of the areas that we actually do export in some of the countries that I mentioned earlier in Africa. Some have come to learn about our community health engagement. Some have come to learn about TVET programs. So it's really diverse. And that's, I think, what is the most exciting part of working at Rwanda Corporation. You go from one meeting talking about health, the other you talk about financial management system, the other will talk about human capital development, and all those areas have attracted a lot of delegations.
From what you've shared, looks like you're heading a very busy institution. One would wonder how do we get to have these connections? How do we get to have over 7,000 people coming? What sort of conversations are there? How do you go about them?
To be honest, Rwanda is known first and foremost because of thanks to our president. So a lot of people just want to come and learn how it works. And therefore we receive requests directly from people from countries. A lot of other people, though, we also have decided to go towards them so that we also, target certain markets that have not maybe been as active on our list. And I think that's the next level for us. And then, to be honest, we never run short of requests. Yeah, every single week, there's always a delegation of 5 that are lining up. And in fact, when they are booking with us, we give all the way through months. Somehow, we currently have some who have booked for April, for example, April 2025. Some want to come in May. So we already have a very long line of people that want to come and learn from the experience of Rwanda.
But beyond that, some of the successes, some of the lessons, and then looking forward, 2025 is here. When you look at the institution, what do you see in 5-10 years?
I think that question is timely because you found us today in a workshop really trying to internalize some of the lessons we've learned over the many years with all the experts working on those projects across Africa. And yes, I agree, we've learned a lot. We've understood that the experience of Rwanda is really compelling. And it is a story that we need to continue to tell for many, many years to come. Now, what that means is we need to build partnerships around this, and we need to continue working with all the partners, both in the public but also the private sector. The next level for us actually is to highlight more the private sector, because most of these delegations have kind of shown us that they really want to know even that side of what Rwanda does. And I think it's time for us to begin to also explore that. Obviously, there's a lot that we can achieve even in the public sector, because the other question that we've been pondering is, how do we continue to remain relevant as a country? Because if we go to sell, for example, one of our systems, IFMIS, today, IFMIS itself has many layers on top of it that do require us even internally as government of Rwanda to continue to innovate around these systems. And therefore, we will continue working with our colleagues across Team Rwanda but also to see how
RBA's William Evans Mutabazi speaking to Patrice Uwase, the CEO of the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative. Now, defense forces in the countries within the Northern Corridor have approved agreements that reinforce mutual assistance in security matters and establish procedures for integrating new members wishing to join this cooperation in future. Prince Manzi with the details.
At the conclusion of a 3-day meeting that brought together senior military officials from Rwanda, Kenya and Uganda, progress was highlighted on the mechanism for the Mutual Defense Pact, including provisions on how new members wishing to join will be integrated.
In 2018, there was a summit. A summit is a meeting of head of states of 3 countries, Kenya, Rwanda and Uganda. And later on, Sudan requested to join and he was admitted to be part of the arrangement. For example, during the discussion, we saw that South Sudan, was admitted to join the 3 countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, but we couldn't find any document to justify all the way Sudan was admitted to join this organization. So we saw this also as a challenge that should be discussed in future sessions and find a better way of keeping records for those countries wishing to join the organization.
After reviewing and signing these documents, the next step will be to submit them to the ministries of defense in these countries for further discussion during the 15th summit of the heads of state of this bloc. The Director General of International Military Cooperation, Brigadier General Patrick Karuretwa, commended collaborative efforts and constructive dialogue with the selected technical committee.
The collaborative efforts and constructive consultations we have witnessed here in this room have been truly commendable. The various mechanisms reviewed and refined over the past 3 days are encouraging ahead of the next steps, which are the engagements at ministerial and ultimately at head of states levels. I am therefore confident that the work you have delivered here will provide a solid foundation to advance the shared objectives of the NCIP member states. Your dedication to advancing the NCIP projects and strengthening our mutual defense cooperation is a testament to the spirit of collaboration and partnership that defines our shared goals and our shared interests.
The Northern Corridor collectively oversees 14 joint projects, primarily aimed at facilitating trade and regional integration, with each country taking responsibility for specific initiatives. Besides the military cooperation project, Rwanda also leads other initiatives within the corridor, including migration, tourism, trade, labor and services, customs integration, peace and security, and airspace management. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. The Rwanda Defense Force Command and Staff College in Nyakinyama has held its 12th annual Cultural Day, a vibrant event celebrating the rich cultural diversity of its senior command and staff course participants. This year's event featured 108 senior military officers from 19 African countries, including one from Jordan, who showcased their unique traditions through cuisine, attire, music, and dance. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Omo Odeke from Uganda, representing allied students, emphasized that their gathering today is a statement that is a testament to richness of their different cultures.
We will look at the West Africa and Southern Africa. They have a lot, a very rich cultural heritage that possibly even us in East Africa we can learn from. Similarly, us, we also have some things that are unique that they feel are a strength to us. So we learn from one another.
Brigadier General Andrew Nyamvumba, the RDF Command and Staff College Commandant, presided over the event on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff and highlighted to the gathering that culture celebrates unity in diversity.
Showcased attributes that will identify the unique identities of our respective nations. We also showed how shared values on the continent and beyond bind us together as members of the community, but also as members of our armed forces that constitute the global village. In our line of duty, understanding and respecting cultural differences is paramount. It enhances our operational effectiveness and strengthens the bonds between us. Culture shapes our behaviors. It informs our values and fosters discipline within our ranks. It is essential that we embrace this understanding to cultivate a military environment that respects and honors backgrounds of all personnel in the armed forces.
The event provided a platform for students to exchange knowledge about their traditions, beliefs, values, and cultural diversity. Participating countries this year included Rwanda, Benin, Botswana, Burkina Faso, the Central African Republic, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Ghana, Guinea, Jordan, Kenya, Malawi, Mali, Mozambique, Niger, Nigeria, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. Cultural Day remains a cornerstone of the RDF Command and Staff College's mission, showcasing the value of cultural understanding in tackling shared challenges and strengthening military cooperation across the African continent. Now, the Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, has emphasized that the continued killings of survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi are undermining the unity of Rwandans. He made these remarks during discussions promoting unity and resilience in Nyaruguru district of the Southern Province, where 3 genocide survivors have been killed since August last year. Minister Bizimana has urged the residents of the district to avoid discrimination and division and instead strive to foster unity. Currently, 6 individuals are in custody facing charges related to failing to disclose information about the whereabouts of the bodies of genocide victims. Now, pastors from various denominations here in Rwanda have expressed gratitude for scholarships provided by the international Christian organization World Vision, enabling them to pursue postgraduate studies in theology. They believe this opportunity will enhance their ability to teach and prepare sermons with a deeper understanding. During the official launch of this program aimed at supporting pastors in theological studies, World Vision announced that the initiative was established to assist churches to meet certain requirements set by the Rwanda Governance Board, including ensuring that pastors receive formal theological education. Church leaders and pastors have praised World Vision for this initiative, noting that it will improve the quality of their teachings and help them to avoid unintentional errors stemming from a lack of knowledge. Reverend Isai Ndaize is a senior pastor of the Adeperi Church here in Rwanda.
To launch this program, this initiative, the theological training of our pastors, I see we are launching something that is bigger than that. We are launching something that is the sustainability of our mission and the World Vision mission, because as we are training the pastors in theological trainings, we are equipping them to keep doing deeply and widely what World Vision has been doing with us. So maybe one day World Vision will not be here, but what you are investing in us will remain. And as we launch this initiative today, we are launching something that will be raising our children and the community. We are launching the sustainability transformation of our communities, of our country, of our nation. You can see Jacqueline today when the dreams are coming true, but I know God has a very long plan. Thank you so much, World Vision, for this. And I know another time will come, we'll be here and sharing other testimony, which is not the theological training, but the impact that you are going to make from this training that you are going to do. I remember the last 2 years, my team, my executive committee, were being together, looking at the journey we have to equip more than 2,000 pastors in the theological training, around 4,000 in the 5 years. And looking at the finances, you know, the COVID shocked everyone and everything, every institution. So the need was so big, and we started praying and looking at different people. We want to thank you for what you are doing with us today. What you are doing, it's just not only to help the church to comply with the requirement, but you are making what you are doing very relevant. You know, we are in a country that is growing very fast. And it's good for all of us to think and see what we need to do for the church, for our community, to remain true and relevant as the country is growing for the future. So, to my fellow church leaders, I want to thank you for your contribution to this journey, for different meetings we have together with World Vision. But again, as we launch this initiative, I want to ask you, let's all work together to make this initiative 100% successful. It's in our hand. How we monitor, how we support the trainees, how we visit them, how we give them time. I know some are going to study while they are doing the pastoral work. So how do we give them time, space, how do we support? Because this is beyond what they are doing as individuals. It's for the church, it's for the community. So let's work together to make this initiative 100% successful.
Rwanda's defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Ronald Rwivanga, has participated in the Kigali City Youth Festival at the Pele Stadium in Nyamirambo. He addressed the youth on the history of the nation's heroes, their role in maintaining achievements, and the need to uphold virtues and values of patriotism, unity, discipline, and hard work that have steered the nation towards transformation. Civil and military leaders called on the youth to embrace the values demonstrated by Rwanda's national heroes, emphasizing that these principles have been instrumental in rebuilding the nation over the past 30 years. The leaders highlighted the importance of patriotism, resilience, and selflessness, values that guided Rwanda's heroes, and encouraged young people to embody these strengths in their daily lives. They stressed that such values are essential for sustaining the progress of the country and ensuring a brighter future. The event served as an opportunity to inspire the youth to take an active role in nation building while drawing lessons from Rwanda's history. Welcome back, and now a look at news from elsewhere around the world. A New York judge has sentenced President-elect Donald Trump to an unconditional discharge over 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. The sentence spares him any penalties but allows the convictions to stand. During sentencing, the President-elect of the U.S. again said the case was politically motivated. VOA has more.
A surreal scene in a New York courtroom. The president-elect speaking virtually to the judge, claiming innocence, calling the case a political witch hunt intended to make him lose the November election. Minutes later, Judge Juan Merchan sentencing Donald Trump to an unconditional discharge, meaning the guilty verdict stands, but Trump receives no jail time, fine, or probation. The judge telling Trump he was not treated any differently than any other defendant. President-elect Donald Trump will now become the first president in U.S. history to take office as a convicted felon. He was found guilty last year of 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide hush money payments to a porn star. Trump has indicated he plans to appeal the verdict.
This was a disgrace.
Political analysts like Shannon Bo O'Brien of the University of Texas say this case was personal to Trump.
He doesn't like to admit fault. He doesn't like to admit weaknesses or shortcomings.
I think the message that really is conveyed here is that no one is above the law, and that the process has played out, and it's going to now bring it to an end.
In a second and third case, a Trump-appointed judge this week temporarily blocked the Justice Department from releasing final reports from special counsel Jack Smith. The cases, both dismissed, involve the storage of classified documents and election interference with the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. This week, the president-elect reiterated his belief that Smith was appointed illegally.
He was thrown off the case in disgrace. Why should he be allowed to write a fake report? It'll only be a fake report.
Special counsels are required to file summary reports. The U.S. Attorney General said he would release Smith's report on the January 6th uprising at the Capitol. Making that public could hamper Trump's efforts to pardon those arrested.
If a lot of this comes to light, that a lot of this was planned and a lot of these activities were malicious and they were criminal, he is giving people a free pass on criminal activity.
The fourth case deals with Georgia election interference. The prosecutor was removed due to an improper romantic relationship with an employee. So the case is at a standstill until it is dismissed or until another prosecutor is assigned.
I think the voters are actually hoping that this whole thing is brought to an end, and that now we can begin anew with a second Trump term.
And that term starts on Monday, January 20th.
It feels great.
Carolyn Presutti, VOA News.
Staying in the U.S., wildfires in Southern California are continuing to spread, threatening thousands of homes and forcing the evacuations of more than 150,000 people. VOA once more.
So I just moved to LA yesterday. I was in my apartment for about 10 minutes. I moved everything out of my car, and then the Sunset Fire happened. So the Sunset Fire was in the Hollywood Hills area, and I'm basically right at the foot of the hill in East Hollywood. And I wasn't in an evacuation status yet, but it was a little bit too close for comfort, and I did not want to have to deal with any of the traffic in case we were in an evacuation, because if it crossed the hill, it would have been very bad, and it would have been a very crazy, hectic traffic journey. So I came right now, which is in the South Bay. So not under a red flag warning, not under an evacuation zone, no threats of fire. At the moment here, so I drove here to a friend who very thankfully let me stay at her house. Good now, I know basically everybody I know who lives in LA is evacuated, they've left. I have friends who are in Koreatown, which is a little bit more south of where I was, they left. My job is in Glendale, where I think the Eaton fire is right now. So everyone is leaving. I think even if you and your actual house or apartment was not impacted, you know somebody in the city who was. So very scary, a lot going on in there.
That brings us to the end of this edition of the News in English. Before we go, however, another look at the headlines. President Paul Kagame has received Ambassador Lazarus Kapambwe, who delivered a message as special envoy on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia. Rwanda's Speaker of Parliament has held discussions with Rwandan members of Parliament representing the country in the East African Legislative Assembly. And a New York judge has sentenced President-elect Donald Trump to an unconditional discharge over 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. I hope you all the best as we begin the weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again. Have a good night.